We did not lose that series because Jason Tatum played bad. We lost that series because one of the 10 best players in NBA history decided, hey fellas, we not losing today. Hi, my name is Kevin Pierce, lifelong Celtics fan, and this is Game 4 of the 2022 NBA Finals, also known as the Steph Curry Masterclass. I like to think of this game as the NBA media-induced brain rot bull. Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but it is disappointingly deadly accurate. Strangely enough for both of these teams, which is rare, but let's start with Steph and the Warriors first.
The championship is back in the Bay for the first time in 40 years.
The Warriors were universally recognized the best team of the 2010s. You can argue about LeBron being the best player of the decade, but the team wasn't debatable at all. However, it seems like talking heads were always looking for an asterisk. I understand saying Steph and the Warriors are awesome gets boring after the 100th time, whether it's true or not, but this was deeper than just engagement hunting. Before their first ring, it was, this style isn't sustainable. No team has ever won a championship shooting all these threes. This team is soft. And this is as they were in the process of raising their first Larry O'Bean. And then the 73-win season came where they were ripping the souls out of teams, left and right. Those narratives somehow persisted while they were chasing down a repeat season and the wins record, which most of us know ended with, well,
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Now, on its face, there's no shame in LeBron beating you in the finals. He tends to do that from time to time. But the way it happened made the anti-Warriors crowd double down. And then triple down came after this happened.
And the Rookie of the Year, an Olympic gold medalist, a 4-time scoring champion, a 7-time All-Star, an MVP of the league, Kevin Durant.
Most of the media and fan eerie went straight to Kevin Durant, and most would say rightfully so. Me personally, if you give me the option between living in California or Oklahoma, my choice is going to be pretty clear. But we tend not to see athletes like humans, so this is the softest move ever made by a superstar.
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar. Plain and simple, that's just how I look at it.
Nevertheless, you get 2 straight titles, Kevin Durant winning Finals MVP for both, and this is where the brain rot really starts to kick into high gear. The Warriors just won 3 titles in 4 years, and Steph never won MVP for any of them. Andre Iguodala got the first one because he, quote, shut LeBron down in the finals, unquote. I guess holding LeBron down to only averaging a triple-double and leading the teams, both teams in every possible category is Finals MVP worthy, but sure, why not? So that narrative led to a lot of, well, is Steph really that good? Is he ever gonna be able to carry a championship team? It doesn't help that they missed the playoffs 2 straight years after KD left, but there's so much context missing from these takes, and oh my God, how dumb do these things sound in hindsight? But Steph took all that criticism to heart and decided he wanted to take it all out on my Celtics on that fateful day.
Jason Tatum's a superstar. No, Jason Tatum's like the 18th best player in the league.
I promise I'm gonna take my bias completely out of this to the best of my abilities. The Celtics are a funny team to look at for the hot take-o-sphere that we exist in, because it involves contradicting a lot of what these analysts say that they believe. On one hand, it's, I'm so sick of all these super teams and player movement. Where is the loyalty? Which is dumb, and we'll talk about why on a later date, but the important part for this video is there the Celtics were, right there, with 2 homegrown superstars that they drafted and developed, and were knocking on the door each and every season, essentially since they got drafted. 3 conference finals in 4 years, and always losing to a team that objectively was better than them. So calling them chokers wasn't exactly accurate, but that didn't stop a lot of people from doing it. Back to the 2 homegrown stars though, the who's Robin and who's Batman debates drove me f***ing insane. In fact, they still do. Because it's still happening. What happened to us liking unselfish basketball? What happened to us agreeing that ball hogs were bad for the game? You see 2 young all-stars coexisting and you knock them for it? How does that make sense? And if I seem upset, it's because as of the taping of this video, 3 years and a whole championship later, These conversations are still happening, and this series added more fuel to that fire. So in one corner, we have the Almost Dynasty featuring the most influential player of the decade, but f all that because he doesn't, quote, carry his team, unquote. And in the other corner, we have the aspiring superstar duo that hasn't gotten it done yet, so nothing they've ever done previously matters even in the slightest. And surely we left this series with some answers, right?
After 2 years away from the finals, the Golden State Warriors are back.
I promise I'm not saying this in hindsight. I felt this in the moment. I didn't think we could beat the Warriors until after game 1. Before then, I was already searching for moral victories. Oh, well, it's a great experience for the guys. It's Ime Udoka's first year. We're already in the finals. We already have our coach of the future. All of this is just gravy. But after game 1, I was like, wait. We won? On the road? By 12? Oh my God, we have a shot. Game 2, we lose. Okay, get a little more humble. They still got championship pedigree, but at least we got our 1 on the road. All we needed was 1. And then after game 3, we're up 2-1. I was all the way back. There's endless graphics about teams that win game 1, win this much percent, and then they go on to win game 3, even higher percentage. So at this point, you can't convince me that I shouldn't be looking for flights to Boston for this parade. I think we got him. Draymond's still doing his post-game podcast at this time, and he's losing more and more bass in his voice day by day. I'm already in victory lap mode, but here's a few details I left out. Jason Tatum is in a shooting slump like I've never seen. 22 points on 34% shooting. Getting 8 assists a game, but damn it, that's not what you're here for. And we had no answers for Steph Curry. Nobody does. But we had no answers at all. But again, we're up 2-1, so it's easy to forgive. Until game 4 happened.
43-point game 4 for Steph Curry.
Just absolutely brilliant performance.
Steph comes out the gate firing. Opens up the game with a 12-point first quarter. He's clearly not messing around that day. But thankfully, so did Tatum. He had a matching 12-point first quarter. So I'm thinking we're about to get a beige battle of the ages. We even left the first quarter with a 3-point lead. So I'm like, okay, we survived the Curry flurry. Tatum got his shot back. Guys, we may take this one. The game keeps going back and forth all the way to the fourth quarter. With one minor problem for my beloved Celtics. Steph kept his pace up after his 12-point first quarter. Tatum, however, did not. He only got 11 for the rest of the game despite taking 17 more shots, and oh boy, was it getting ugly towards the end. They had the world convinced that Andrew Wiggins was Scottie Pippen out there. It was all bad. Meanwhile, Steph is on the other side of the ball, going absolutely berserk. Ball on a string, getting to the rack, dishing to or otherwise setting up his teammates, and of course, he's making shots all the way from Rhode Island. In my lifetime as a Celtics fan, there have only been 2 players that legitimately put fear in my heart during the game. LeBron in 2012, I made a video about that. Go watch it, it's great. And LeBron again in 2018. If you want a video about that one, let me know in the comments. And Steph Curry during this game. When I tell you there was absolutely nothing this team could do against him at all, and I couldn't find definitive proof of this, but I'm about 90.9% sure this is the first time he started doing the night-night celebration. And that image has been burned into my mind ever since. Quick tangent, but imagine during the last Olympics, when Steph is going off, he's putting our entire country on his back. He's hitting the night-night, and all of y'all are celebrating. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there traumatized.
The 2022 Bill Russell NBA Finals MVP award goes to Stephen Curry.
It feels weird to say a player had their career-defining game when they already had a Hall of Fame career prior, but that's really the case here. I don't think I have to argue why the most influential player of a generation was a Hall of Famer before winning his first Finals MVP, right? I would hope we'd all be clear on that, but in this era, you never know. If you ask someone, what's the greatest game Steph Curry has ever played? Outside of this, your answers will probably be the 33-point second half against Houston, but that involved him going scoreless in the first half first. Or the 2016 primetime game against OKC, where he hit the game winner from half court, Mike Breen hit the coveted double bang, Steph did that little weird dance that he does. Hey, show the clip, show the clip.
Have a timeout, decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown, bang! What a shot from Curry with 0.6 of a second remaining.
Great game, great moment, regular season game. This game 4 is at the top of the line for Steph's resume. right after inspiring a generation of hoopers to piss their coaches off by shooting threes from the locker room. The Celtics side of this is so interesting to me though, and maybe that's because I lived through it and was so close to it than others, but 3 months later, Ime Udoka gets suspended, then fired for being excessively horny with a coworker. We lose in the conference finals in 7 after falling 3-0, and then come back and have statistically one of the greatest seasons ever and win a championship. That whole time though, the narratives around this Celtics team got so nasty, particularly against Tatum, who again I say, played terribly that series, and he'd be the first to tell you that. But, we did not lose that series because Jason Tatum played bad. We lost that series because one of the 10 best players in NBA history decided, hey fellas, we not losing today. And it really was that simple.